Hi everyone, hope you're all doing well, or I hope you're having a good weekend. Yes, I know I'm about 15 minutes late, but I was a little busy talking with an old friend, so not just that, but I recently just came home about like 6 o'clock on the dot. I've just been very busy doing some personal stuff, and well, not just that, but with like work and all of it. But I hope everybody's been okay, and I hope you've been doing well. I know I keep saying that like at the beginning of every stream, but as usually I want to keep up with people and I want to make sure that they're doing okay. So yeah, this is just gonna be a just chatting stream. I want to do more of these just chatting streams because usually I don't get the time to talk much with people because we have a game in front of us. Or it is not just a game. Usually it's like a hand cam thing that I do. So it's nice to let loose a little bit sometimes and then do this sort of thing. But yeah, I guess I can talk about my day and how that went. Hold on, let me turn this off and then we can turn on like the Animal Crossing music. Hey Kazi, how's it going, man? How you been doing? I heard Black Ops 6, 7? I don't remember. Oh my god, I can't believe I said those two numbers. Oh my god. I think some people mentioned it, but for whatever fucking reason, 6 and 7 is like a obscure number that people talk a lot about because it's like a meme or something. Like I don't quite get it, but some people think it's funny, I guess. But yeah, I heard Call of Duty Black Ops whatever was. I'll just say 7. I don't know why it said that. I don't know why it said 6. Okay, I have this in the background just so that. Well, I think it's better than just having the same music loop. I guess it's the new 69. Was 69 a thing? It's hard to imagine that it was. But I don't know if anybody plays Black Ops. I just heard that it was. Well, I don't know. It's pretty generic. It hasn't really changed in the past 10 years or however many years. But what I do know about it is apparently the new Black Ops uses AI for their marketing. So if you go on their website, it has like a bunch of panels where it's AI generated Studio Ghibli art. And a lot of people were up in arms over that. I don't like it. It's funny to me because a lot of companies right now or organizations or even game developers, they're starting to use the AI and they're calling it the use of tools, and they want to use it because it cuts back on the budget when it comes to video game development and other things. Which it is true that technically it is a tool, but I feel like that tool could be better spent doing other things. Like I just don't think that it might be the best course of action to implement art, the AI type of art into games or their website in particular. Hey Flame Bro, how's it going, man? How's Final Fantasy 14? I believe some game company fired 100k people and replaced them with AI. That's the thing nowadays that I'm kind of worried about with AI in general. I think of it the same way as the 1940s or the 30s where they introduced the conveyor belt. So now people, like back then, they used to work on the line, and then they were paid to do a specific thing as like stuff came along. As stuff came along. So since that process has been streamlined, it's been a lot more efficient. So a lot of people lost their jobs on that front, and it hasn't really been changed all that much in the past 100 years or so, because people are constantly creating new things and they're constantly making things more efficient. And it is true to say that this type of efficiency isn't, because it's the thing about AI generated art or anything with AI generation is that it learns from human ingenuity. So the same thing can be said for art. It doesn't learn by doing things itself. It learns by, grabbing what people know and what they did. So that way it learns and then becomes more efficient at doing things that better than what humans can do. Well, that's not true. I'm not saying AI generated art is better, because so far I haven't seen anything, way out there that I think AI is like the cream of the crop when it comes to making anything. Because AI, it still definitely is flawed because it makes lots of mistakes, and I've seen it. I've seen it when people generate AI art. I can notice it instantly right away. But one scary thing is, like, the more better AI gets at learning something, I feel like the flaws will always be there, but it will be harder to spot. And it's funny too. I saw a short video about somebody talking about one person that said that all people are shitting on me because they don't think AI is like art, or they don't think I'm an artist because I generate art using AI. So there was like one guy that posted on Twitter saying that, no, I'm a real artist. It's difficult, it's hard, because I have to manually input the words into the prompt, and then it takes a couple minutes to generate the art. So there's some people out there that say that they're artists because they can, they can generate art, and they say it's difficult or whatever. And I remember this dude, he generated a piece of art and he posted it on Twitter saying that, oh, look how good this piece of art is. And it was a picture of One Piece, of a character from there, the main character. And some person responded below them, and they were like, yeah, that's not that good, man, do better. And then the dude who posted the image was like, yeah, I bet you can't do this. I bet you can't make an image as good as this. And the dude followed back up on him, and he was like, of course I can, you idiot. I essentially, or basically, just animate for One Piece. So so you kind of, well, you fell on his ass there, because essentially, if the dude animates for One Piece, he's already pretty good at art. So I don't know what that dude was thinking of. He kind of just got his ass handed to him. I think AI art will only be good in quality after 2030. I don't know. It's hard to say, to be honest. I think there could definitely be some good things for AI in particular to be used as a specific tool, but maybe not for art. Because the thing is, if people stop doing art, then we're kind of leaving up the creativity to machines, right? And that's the thing that I kind of worry about a little bit, because in the future, if people gravitate towards that specific thing, then where would be the creativity, right? Because right now there's some people that they're trying to make AI generated games, and they're trying to make AI generated movies and songs and all of that, and that's okay. I mean, if you want to have a little bit of fun there. But in the future, if everything's created by AI, Like what the humans do, right? So are we just gonna, sit here and twiddle our thumbs while, we play AI generated games or something? That's something that I think about. Not a whole lot, but I think about it a little bit going into the future. Hey Lufa, how's it going? How you been? Yeah, we're just doing a little bit of just chatting here. Yeah, he got ratioed. Yeah, he got fucked hard, man. I don't know what he was thinking. Hold on, let me get a sip of my Powerade. I gotta drink something. I usually drink, like, I don't drink soda anymore. So in place of that, I usually drink iced coffee. But today, I went to my local McDonald's, and I disordered. I decided to order up front in the counter, and I asked the guy at the counter, hey, can I get an iced coffee with some French vanilla? I was like, okay. But usually, whenever I order iced coffee from McDonald's, I order it with 5 cream and 5 sugar. So since I didn't do that today, I ordered up front. I decided to give it a try, and it was just absolutely disgusting. You know the old saying, when you wake up, you have a cup of mud? Like, it's a really old saying, but I actually couldn't believe the taste. It actually just tasted like that. Like, it's nasty. So since I usually put 5, I put like 5 cream and 5 sugar. Without it, it doesn't work. It's just, I don't know. It's like hot coffee, but without the hot, and it's just like ice. So you're just tasting the cocoa beans. I mean, we're already watching AI YouTube videos and AI movies. Oh, that reminds me. Do you guys usually get ads on AI, like AI ads, or like AI generated, like ads on like the banners and all of that? Because nowadays, whenever I get an ad when I watch a video, I want to say maybe 80% of the time, it's like AI generated. And the reason why I know is because their voice is extremely monotone. Unlike mine's not monotone anymore. But usually when it's AI generated, they're trying to sell me something, and it's like some sort of obscure product that literally nobody needs. Like, just before the stream, I watched a short video on like a clip of Mad Max, and it was the ad was literally trying to sell me like on some, what do they call it, slippers? I don't know. It was like some furry slippers. It was like $50. It was like, have you guys ever felt the pain of having to walk on eggshells or something? Well, now is the day to stop doing that, and to come buy yourself some comfy slippers or something. And they were like, you can order yours now for $50 at this weird website. AI ads on Reddit? I usually never get any ads except for on my phone, because I feel like most people nowadays, they have ad block, right? So the only ads I ever get is if I browse on my phone, because I don't have an ad block on there. I feel like if I were to install it, there's like some maintenance and like upkeep I have to do, and there's obviously some things I don't trust on the App Store, because but the same thing with the Microsoft Store. Whenever I tried like downloading some things like for my hand cam stream, just to make it easier. Like, I wanted to make it so that whenever I draw, you could just see the thing on the screen. And I downloaded it. I downloaded an app one time on the Windows Store, and I essentially did run like a virus scan, and it said I got like a Trojan horse virus. So I figured that maybe Microsoft doesn't do their due diligence and make sure that viruses aren't on there. But I will say though, I took care of that. It was okay for the most part. I got rid of the virus. Brave browser blocks all ads on Android, I mean websites. Like I could download ad blockers on my phone, but I just feel like for me in particular, I never use my phone a whole lot. Like, do you guys use your phone all the time, or do you guys use your PC more? Like in particular, I feel like I use my phone whenever I go out. I use my phone very sparingly. Like I don't know, I'm not that type of person that stares at their phone all the time when like back then, I don't know if you guys ever heard of this, but back then when people didn't have phones, they used to chew on bubble gum. Because there was like something to do there, and if they weren't chewing on bubblegum, they would talk to people. So nowadays, since we have phones, we don't really chew gum anymore, so that it's like, but like think of it this way, when's the last time you've seen anybody chew gum before, right? Since we have smartphones, nobody really chews gum anymore, nobody ever does it. So a lot of the gum chewing companies or chewing gum companies, their sales are way down just because people aren't doing it anymore, and they have an excuse to pull out their phone because they have it. I use my phone the most, desktop second, laptop third, TV fourth. Really? People use their phone a whole lot? I don't know. I'm part of the... I'm pretty sure I'm part of the millennial bracket, where... And each generation of people is known for something. I think the next generation after millennial is X, right? And then after that is Gen... What is it? Gen Z or Gen Y? I forget. I know after maybe millennial it's Gen X. I think. I don't know for sure. I'm a zillennial. Each generation I feel like is known for different things. So I know in particular this was said back then, like a long time ago. People used to say that millennials are extremely lazy, which is, I mean, it's kind of true. But millennials right now, they're getting up to the point where they're kind of like my age, where like they're almost in their 30s. Well, some of them are in their 30s already, and some of them have kids already. And then I'd say maybe millennials aren't really lazy at all. They just maybe it is true. I mean, back when I was in school, I didn't really try that much. But as I got older, I realized that if you want to get anywhere in life, you're gonna have to take opportunity by the ass and actually grab it. Otherwise, you're gonna let it slip through. Some Gen Z are in 28 max? Really? That's interesting. 28, huh? I bet Gen Z thinks they're old. I don't know. Do people think that 28 is old? Do you guys think that 28, like the age of it, is old? Or do you guys think, nah froggies, that's like prime age. That's like you're still young. You got some mileage left in the tank. Gen Alpha calls us dinosaurs. It's funny though, because I used to have a friend that was in like the Gen, I forgot, probably like Gen Z or Gen X or whatever, but they were about 25 or 26, and our, like, it was just like a 2 or 3 year age gap, and we're like the way I think of things and the way they think of things were completely different. Like, maybe you can argue that, you know, if you get closer to age, within like the age gap, then you might have some similarities. But I don't know. I can't really relate that much on what is it? When it comes to like the younger people, right? So like younger people, they have different tastes. Like they have what is it? They have gotcha games, right? So they like to play a lot of those games, and then they like to spend money, and then not just that, but they're into K-pop and what else? There's like plenty of things that Gen X likes that I don't really particularly have a fond interest in, or Gen Z. I forgot what it was, but maybe it has something to do with oh, that this is another big thing that for whatever reason maybe Gen Z likes more, or Gen X, I forgot which, but literally almost every Gen X or Gen Z, they're into League of Legends. If not League of Legends, they're into Marvel Rivals or any type of competitive game that I don't know, brings up like the what is it, the competitive nature in humans or something. Like I'm like, I've played League before. I tried it out, and it's just, I don't get it. I'm not a League of Legends guy. Maybe it's just me, or maybe it's like a generational thing, but I cannot get into it. Gen Alpha calls us dinosaurs? Really? Gen Alpha? Are those the iPad kids? Oh wow, I asked Copilot to draw a human frog, and it drew Froggies right down to the hoodie, and even put Froggy's name on your AI famous. Oh my god, I'm AI famous, oh my god. Oh boy. But that's interesting though. I never thought they could get my head right. I never thought they could possibly get Froggies. But this is one thing I've noticed with like the generational gap. There are some things that you can group up with each generation, and maybe some people can argue about this and say, nah, Froggies, there's no such thing as like a generational gap. There's people, different people believe in different things or whatever. But like the thing I've learned in marketing for the past, I wouldn't say 10 years, I'd say like maybe 5 or 6 years, is that you can definitely group up people by their generation and based off of their taste and what they like. Like it's literally true. Like there are outliers, and it is true that some people like different things, but those are within like 3 different standard deviations, where everything else is clumped up within the 90, I want to say 95% percentile. Like if you look at the graph, you can see people are grouped up in a certain generation, and they like certain things. Like it's true, it literally is. But yeah, there are outliers of course, but 90% of the time people are gonna like what this generation would like. Gen Alpha are kids born after 2012. So yeah, iPad kids. No, the neck was too short. No, not the fucking neck again. See, I knew I should have kept the scarf. I knew somebody would point it out again. I've seen Gen Z play Overwatch, CS2, Valorant, Fortnite, Roblox, Wizard 101. There's like some things that, like, I can understand from a Gen Z perspective and Gen X perspective, but then there's like other things I don't quite get. Like the newest trend, there are some trends I don't quite understand. Like right now, if you guys ever heard of like the Dubai chocolate thing, it has nothing to do with like a generational thing. It has more so to do with popularity. I don't know why we're bridging this, but I want to go on this like short tangent. So I know that there's like a new thing, or maybe like it's like a couple months old, But Dubai chocolate is essentially two pieces of chocolate bars, and it's like sandwiched in between some pistachio filling. And people think it's really good, and they think it tastes good. But I tried some before, and it just tastes nasty. Like I don't get it. I don't quite understand it. Like it looks disgusting, man. I don't know if you guys ever seen what Dubai chocolate looks like, but the filling just looks like vomit. Or I don't know if you guys ever tasted it, but I know recently Sam's Club and maybe Costco has the same thing too, but they released Dubai chocolate cupcakes, and I took a look at them and they just look. I don't know. I'm not a sweet guy, but they look. Yeah, I'll give you guys like a picture. Maybe it looks appetizing to you if you like sweets or whatever, but to me they just look disgusting. Like I can't imagine just like taking a bite full of it, like a mouthful. I mean, it just maybe it has something to do with the calories. Like yeah, it looks aesthetically good, but I can't imagine eating it myself. Hold on, let me put that to the side first. Yeah, but this is what the Dubai chocolate cupcakes look like. I don't know. Like yeah, it looks good, but if you know, you look at it up front, it's like more intimidating than what you actually think it looks like in the picture. Like I tried it before, and I don't know if anybody tried it here yet, but it just I don't know, man. It tastes nasty. Hey Ash, how's it going, man? We're talking about Dubai chocolate. Yeah, I just had to go on this short tangent because I just saw a short the other day, and the dude was what they were saying, oh, you can buy 8 cupcakes for $17. And look at this, it's like beautiful or something. I'm sick today, but I made it. You're sick? Did you get a cold? I know I'm like a very simple person. I think it kind of just comes with the personality. I feel like most people, whenever they go out, they're dressed like really nicely, and they're dressed in like what you expect a person would be. They usually change their attire, but I never do that. Like I go out in the same shirt, in the same pants, maybe 6 months out of the entire year, and I change with the seasons sometimes. So during the winter I do bundle up, but I wear brown pants and I wear like a leather jacket. That's like the only thing I change. But normally, when I go out during the summer or the spring, I just wear like I wear probably the same shirt, and I wear khakis and sandals with like a I don't know, like a vest without like sleeves. See, most people, I feel like they change their attire, but I never do that. It's not because I'm lazy, it's just because I don't really feel like it. The bars are decent, but they're overrated. Really, Kazi, you think they taste good? Oh my god, I can't imagine. It just, I don't know. I feel like I should buy some for my parents, or buy some for my dad. Like, he's into sweets. He really like his muffins and his donuts and his cupcakes. But I don't know. I feel like giving it to him would be like some form of torture. I'm coming down with a fever. I got a lot of assignments, so hopefully I get better quick. Well, I hope you get better, man. We're all rooting for you. The only times I ever get sick is usually maybe... It's pretty rare whenever I get sick, but it's during the winter months. It's never during flu season. Hold on, let me get a sip of some water. Besides grilled cheese, what's your favorite food? Do you really want to know what's my favorite food? It's kind of it's a hard pick. It's a hard decision because maybe when I was a kid I liked something in particular, but then after a while things start to change, and then you try new things, and then that sort of thing becomes your favorite food. I don't know if anybody's ever had the same experience where as you're a kid, when you're a kid you like something and then you try it as an adult and you're like, damn, I used to like this as a kid. I can't believe it. It tastes like shit. But I'd say other than grilled cheese, I know this is very plain, but this is like a cop-out answer. I'd say cereal. Cereal is probably my second favorite food. I know it's very bland. I'm sorry. Sorry, Froggies. You like Honey Nut Cheerios? What's wrong with you? You 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 like Wheaties? I think in particular, in terms of cereal, my two favorite would either be, it's like split between Corn Puffs and Cinnamon Toast Crunch. I'm a very simple person. I don't like lots of exotic shit. Like I'm being honest. I'm not like a fancy dude. Like I don't prefer caviar on pizza. Like I don't like I don't prefer fancy shit. But if push comes to shove, if I need to eat anything for dinner, I would much rather have like one of those TV frozen dinners than go out. That's just my my saying though. I get sick during spring. My favorite food is still pizza or poutine. Oh, poutine, huh? That's French fries with gravy, right? It's either a French thing or it's a Canadian thing. But I know for French or maybe Canadian, they still have like the saying of fish and chips. I don't quite get it. Maybe fish and chips are different than poutine. But I like to think that they're equally the same because they're French fries, right? I think. I don't know for sure. I can't quite remember if poutine's the same thing. Yeah, sugary stuff and some chips taste awful as an adult. I'm just not like a sugary type of guy anymore. There are some exceptions, like I said, with cereal. And maybe ice cream to a degree, or if I'm like, if I want to have something as a snack, like I'll eat it. Sort of like McDonald's apple pie. But I'm generally not like a sweet tooth type of guy. I don't have a craving for chocolate chip cookies or muffins or cupcakes. Literally anything that has frosting is something that I absolutely despise. Except maybe on a rare occasion, if I'm really hungry and there's like maybe like let's say a raspberry filled Bismarck donut, then yeah, I might have it because it's filled with something in between. It's like the heart of it. But I'm generally not like a sweet type of person. Cereal is also my bomb. My go-to Cinnamon Toast Crunch. Hey, we share something similar. I like Frosted Flakes and Honey Nut Cheerios. Nice, another Honey Nut Cheerios enthusiast. Though I'd say Corn Puffs are better though. Okay, let me get a little sip of soda. Sorry, not soda. I'm getting soda flashbacks just drinking some Powerade. I wonder if this is true or not, but I heard that for some people who eat anything with blueberry in it, then it essentially makes your throat more dry. Or I don't know if that's true, because maybe blueberries, since it's an antioxidant, then it supposedly kind of absorbs water or something. But there's like some types of food, if you eat it, then it makes your throat more dry. I believe there is donut cereal now. There's like one cereal in particular. I don't know if you guys heard of it, but there used to be Oreo cereal, like the Oreo O's. I don't know if you guys have heard about that, but they no longer make that. But the weirdest thing is that they don't make it in the US anymore. They make it in Asia. So in Korea or China or maybe even in Japan, they have Oreo O's, and you can find them in Chinese supermarkets or Asian supermarkets. And they're just like little mini Oreos, like O-shaped Honey Nut Cheerios that taste like Oreos. And I don't know if they're like expensive. They're like $8 or something, or maybe $5. I don't know how much it costs. What I do know is that it's not available in American stores anymore, which is weird. I don't know why. Maybe Asian people like it. There's just like some things I guess appeals to the American market rather than the Asian market. Or maybe, I don't know. I don't know a whole lot about these things, even though I'm in marketing. Oreos are in Canada, where I live. They're alright. There are some things that I think are Canadian exclusive, like fast food restaurants, but I don't know for sure. Because Canadians... I do know that for a lot of stuff in Canada compared to the US, it's a lot more expensive. And the reason why I know this is because I went to Walmart I went to like the Walmart site the other day, and somebody said, well, I don't know, I looked at a Discord, and there's like a Walmart website in Canada, and the prices in Canada are just like, they're literally like 2 or 3 times more expensive than like the US Walmart. So I don't know what's up with that. I don't know whether or not maybe Canadians make more money, or maybe everything in Canada is a lot more expensive. But I've seen some of the prices on the website. The other day, I thought about something, and I don't know if anybody ever thinks about this when they get older, but like the thing I thought is like the older you get, the faster time goes. Like I heard that from somewhere, and I've thought a little bit about it. But back when I was younger, I used to watch a lot of old shows and game shows in particular. But I didn't really think about aging at all. Like, I didn't think about it that much. And it's funny because it's like, when you think about it, it's like the notion of when we were kids, you talk about growing up and what you want to be or what you want to do. But then when you get to an adult, or when you become an adult, it's like, where did the time go? So as like an adult, you don't... I guess you like think back to what you wanted to be or do, but it's just more you think of nostalgia rather than what you wanted to become, I guess. Conversion rates are crazy. A middle class income in America would be rich here in Canada. I heard from my dad's friend. My dad talks with him, and he usually goes on and talks about his day and like other things going on. So he's like 60 something years old, or like 70 or however many, and he has like two daughters, and they've moved away, and they've done their own thing. So now that the like my dad's friend is 70 or 80 and he's retired, he wants to move back to Asia somewhere, maybe in China. I forget. But it's been about like 35 years since he came here, which is kind of astounding to me, to live here for that long and then you want to go back to like China or like Asia or wherever. I just don't think, if you were to live somewhere for this long, like let's say you live here for, like you're like him and you live here for 35 years, would you ever want to go back to wherever you came from, or wherever you were born? Like, I don't know, I just think that's kind of silly to, like, you lived here for so long and you probably made a lot of connections and you know a lot of people, but then you decide to go back over there where maybe you might not know anybody, or maybe nobody's there waiting for you. Like, I'll understand when I get older, but I just can't fathom wanting to go back if everything you have is here. But like I said, who knows? Maybe they want to do something there, and like maybe they want to chase their dreams of opening a business. I don't know. I don't get it. I'm trying to justify it, but I don't understand the specifics. I think they want to live their remaining days in their home countries and eventually die there to be buried. I think if I ever want to be, 6 foot under, I feel like I know some people go for like the cremation route. I just don't think I could possibly go that. But then again, I don't know. I think when people don't think about this a whole lot, but it's kind of like equally as bad. Like, let's say you quote unquote passed away, and then you're sent to be cremated. But what happens if you aren't dead and then you wake up and then you're like in the oven? You're like, do people know that you're still alive? Is there like a bell you can ring? I know, like we probably talked about this in the past, like with if you're buried like 6 feet under, there is a bell you can ring just to make sure you're not dead or something. But like if you're cremated and you're in the process of it, and somehow miraculously you're given a second chance at life, do you just wake up and you burn to death? Like that's something that I don't think about a whole lot, but it's like, what if it does happen? Hey Reaper, how's it going, man? How you been doing? You don't wake up in the oven, you toast immediately? I think that's like such a bad way to go, though. Like, well, maybe it's like an instant death, but I can't imagine the agonizing pain. Because you're essentially getting roasted alive, right? I don't know. Maybe it might be crazy to think about, but if you guys were to, let's say bite the dust one day, would you rather have it quick? Or would you... Actually, I don't think anybody would choose, like, slow and painless. Painful. Let me see. I think most people here would probably choose, like, quick and painless, or quick and painful, or something. I forget which is which. Maybe slow and painful, or, like, fast and painless. I don't know which was which. Either way, I feel like both are essentially just pathways to pain. I fell down the stairs. You? Wait, you fell down the stairs. What happened? Did you get into a fight or something? Was it like another staring contest and then you went backwards and then you fell? Was that like one of those like stare downs where you know you can't like look the other way and then you have to focus on them? I've never had that type of intense stare down before, but I guess some people might be doing that. Oh, oh, there's something funny that, well, maybe it's not so funny to people who work there, but I heard that Target has a new policy. Have you guys heard of that? So they have something that employees have to do, and they implemented it. Maybe some stores or some managers are more lenient, but Target implemented a new policy called like the 10-4 policy. And I think some of the news outlets also, I think some of them also broadcasted it, and they were like, yeah, Target has a new policy where if you're a Target employee and you're 10 feet away from somebody, like directly when they go into the store, you have to greet them and you have to say hi and wave your hand or something. so if they're like 10 feet away, you have to do that. But if they're 4 feet away, like the customer is 4 feet away of like a Target employee, then that employee has to strike up a conversation with them and then talk about their day and like talk about, oh, what's up with you? And the thing about it is that the reason why they implemented it because they want more people in the doors of Target, and they want it to be more of a friendly atmosphere. So what they're trying to say is they want to make employees make you not feel lonely and, you know, talk about whatever you want just because they want to jack up sales. That's like literally what it means in marketing terms. It's funny because they said this during Black Friday or Cyber Monday or whatever. Pretty much easy. I don't know, man. If I were to work retail, you know, instead of what I'm doing right now, I'm probably not gonna chat up with people. Like I'm not gonna do that. It just like I'm not much of a small talk kind of guy, even though it's kind of ironic right now that I'm talking. Like it's just that there's nothing wrong with that. It's just that some people, maybe they might not want to talk with you. They're just like, oh, I'm just here to buy this. I'm just here to get this or that. But I guess now, if you ever want somebody to talk to or a shoulder to lean on, all you have to do is just go to your local Target and stand 4 feet away from them, and I guess they'll be your, I don't know, introverted friend. So that's one way to solve loneliness, if you know, if you need somebody to talk to. I'm not saying all Targets are gonna implement this, but that's from what I've heard, and including the news outlets, it's a new policy at Target. Man, can you imagine if Walmart and every other big retail store started implementing that? Can you imagine how less lonely people will be, and then how more lonely people will be at Target and Walmart? I guess maybe Walmart already has that, because Walmart has one of those greeters where they check your receipts and then they say hi or whatever. Or I don't know, maybe they don't. I do know Costco kind of has the same thing, but they're more of just people who check your receipts to see if you stole something. But I don't know. Like, it's weird to me that, like, a lot of stores near me, they have sometimes, like, they lock up specific things. Like, my local Walmart, they lock up collectibles and electronic things. Even if they're, let's say, really simple and I don't think anybody would steal them, like a can of condensed air, or what is it, electronic duster. Even that, they lock it up, as well as like old CDs. But it's weird to me because they, like, there's so many other things that they could lock up, but they choose these specific things. So, like, I've never seen anyone around me, and I go out all the time. But have you guys ever seen anybody steal, like, literally anything? Like, I've never seen that before, and I usually go to like all my local retail stores if I need to pick up something, or I don't know, if there's something that I find cool, and I'll just like go there and buy it. But literally, like, I don't see cops show up to arrest people to buy, like, whenever they steal anything, and I don't like, I like to think that where I live, our neighborhood is relatively safe. Like, we don't, most people are pretty well off. So it's weird to me to see like everything locked up. And even when I go to like my local pharmacy at CVS, they lock up the detergent. So it's I I don't know. I don't get it. I don't understand. I haven't seen anybody steal anything. But then again, if they steal it, do they just get away with it most for like the most part? People get high off of the computer dusters? Really? How do they do that? Because I have a can of compressed air here. Does that mean I could just like sniff it and then get high? I can't imagine that. You think we should try? I'm just kidding. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. That's like, maybe it is true, but I don't really. I don't know. I just use it to just like spray dust away, and I just use it for my PC. That's pretty much it. Oh, so I recently, I think I mentioned this like during the stream, but I watched some clips of Mad Max the other day. You know, the post-apocalyptic movie that takes place in Australia, which somehow, I don't know, doesn't really mention like the rest of the world. Maybe it is post-apocalyptic, but it's only in Australia or something. And I thought about two different things: how much better the sequel of the movie is, or like the franchise is, compared to the original, and that there's some media or types of media where the sequels are better, or at least part in those franchises. Definitely not worth it. Also, no, I don't see thieves around would hang with those people anymore. I like to think that maybe when people steal something, it like, I'm not saying that they should be let off the hook, but it kind of, for me, it kind of depends on the situation. But I can understand if, like, let's say some people were stealing food or something, and they're kind of down on their luck. I get that. But then I kind of realize sometimes that even if, you know, you're down on your luck and you need to steal food, there are places that do offer, you know, services where you could, yeah, like my local church, right? So there's like there's like a church where you usually every Saturday they do like a food drive where they hand out like canned goods and like other things. So I maybe that's why we don't get a whole lot of thieves here. But even though we don't get a whole lot, they lock up the stuff anyways. So usually, I guess my community is a lot better at handling this sort of thing. Nah, man, I'm medieval. Take their hands unless it's food for living type of thing. Yeah, this is like, this is usually what I would, be lenient on. Like, yeah, if let's say maybe you have like a kid or something, and then you need like emergency provisions, and you went through all of it and it wasn't enough, or I don't know, you're down on your luck or something. I get it. I understand. But if let's say you're stealing for the sake of, I don't know, inflating your own ego, meaning that for a lot of, and this is like a psychological thing that I read up on. A lot of people steal because they get the rush of like being able to get away with it. Like if you have that type of mentality, then I don't know how well life is gonna go for you. Like they do things because it's fun, or they do things because they can get away with it. Then it's probably not the best way to think about it. A bunch of assaults used to steal from me to buy drugs. Aw, well, I hope things were fixed in that. I can't imagine they'd keep doing that. But one thing I've learned from, maybe since I haven't seen it up close, but psychologically speaking, if somebody steals and then they're caught, it's the way I think of people committing crimes. Most of the time, they'll continue doing it if they're caught, and because it doesn't matter. They know that they can keep doing it, and it's like a force of habit type of thing. But that's like a psychological perspective that I don't know for sure if that is, because everybody's different, and some people who steal, maybe they might change their ways and then they do other things. But generally speaking, if like a thief is caught, I'm like hypothesizing here, usually they would just continue stealing. Some are dead to others are dead to me. I get that, but maybe eventually in the future they can, maybe not like, what's the word for it? Maybe I forgot what is it called. Not like apologize, but maybe they can. What's the word for it? What's the word that I'm looking for? It's not apologize. It's like the sentence I'm thinking of is like they make up for what they did. What's the word for that? I don't know. It's like not apologize. It's like, oh, I messed up. I know the error of my ways. And I don't know, 10 years from now, and I'm gonna do something to, remedy whatever happened. And I hope we can extend like an olive branch or something. Like, sort of like, I hope we can let bygones be bygones. Florida has 3 strikes rule, where if you do the crime more than 3 times, then life in jail. Damn. Really? Then why is there so many people in Florida committing crimes? Like, people like to meme a lot on Florida, but if they have a life in jail type of thing, why the fuck is there so much shit happening in Florida? It's either, like, the 2 most memeable states that I hear about more often is Ohio and Florida. But in terms of crime rates, it's like Detroit too. But if there's like life for sure. Because I like I think it's like a really close. It's really close to what I'm thinking of. It's out-of-state people committing crimes during spring break and vacation. Out-of-state people? Is that why Florida gets a bad rep because of the tourists? Like, I feel like since Florida gets such a bad rep, I don't think anybody would visit Florida. Because I know one of the worst, like, what is it? One of the worst counties in Florida is Miami. Because I know that Miami is mostly known for a lot of stuff, a lot of crime that goes on there, and also a lot of people living up the high life. But I maybe it's mostly because of that Florida gets a bad rep. I'm sure maybe the rest of Florida isn't as bad. Because I've heard plenty of stories of people talking about Miami being like bad or like terrible, and it's usually never anywhere else. Like in Florida, I mean. Oh yeah, we were talking about what was it? Let me just take a sip of this stuff first. The crime was highest in the 80s when there were drugs in Miami. I don't know. It's like, it's weird for me because a lot of the things that I mostly see is just off of like news articles about Florida, but it's never in particular about where it is. Okay, let me take another sip. Wait, what was I talking about before? I was talking about sequels, I think. So, I watched Mad Max, the clips of it, and I watched the sequel called, like, The Road Warrior. And compared to the original, a lot of people like the original, not the original, they like the sequel more than the original. So I was kind of wondering, like, can you guys think of a sequel where it's better than the original? Like, let's say a game or a movie. And I'm sure a lot of people can name plenty of them. But one type of franchise that I think, like, I feel like this is more ignored in like the whole gaming franchise scene is Final Fantasy. Because for that, like, everybody talks about Final Fantasy 7. And maybe they talk about like other Final Fantasies in general, like let's say Final Fantasy 10 or 11 and then 14 because it's like an MMO. But the thing is, like, nobody, and I've never seen anybody talk about it, but they never talk about the original Final Fantasy. I just think that's very weird. Right? Because Final Fantasy 1 is the one that started it all. But nobody ever talks about it. And no, I don't even know the story to it, and it's kind of sad that I don't. But I do know every Final Fantasy is different, and they're not in chronological order. They're just like each one tells its own story. But it's like it's just so weird to me, because I'm sure other types of media, shows, games, movies, like I'm sure, like they talk about the original, but for Final Fantasy, it's just nobody does. Silent Hill 2? Oh, that's a good one. That's actually a really, really good one. But Final Fantasy, Silent Hill 2 is the one that made it so that everybody got into Silent Hill, the series, I mean. Because it's the one that appealed to the most people. Whereas the first one, it talked a lot about cults. which I guess it didn't appeal to most people because not many people can really relate much to cults, and I don't know, the idea of birthing a god. Sorry if that's spoilers or something, but I guess Silent Hill 2 kind of just appealed to more on like what people are going through. So it's definitely a lot better. Well, I shouldn't say better. It's like comparing apples to oranges. Each one is different. But I'd say if it comes to, I do agree that Silent Hill 2 is, for me, I like it better than the first game. Mostly because it's just like I don't know. I'm not that much into cults, and Silent Hill 1 just is like a horror game. But Silent Hill 2 is more of like psychologically speaking, where people go through like psychological trauma. Terminator 2, that's like another good one. I'd say Terminator for the first movie, that was memorable, but not as memorable as the second one. But if I had to choose, I'd go with the second one too. Saints Row 2. I've literally never played the Saints Row before. There's literally two types of game franchises that I've never played, but I always compare them to Grand Theft Auto. It's Saints Row and Mafia. Mostly because they're so, I don't want to call them like the same or anything, but they always kind of just felt very similar to one another. But mostly because I don't know. I've heard of GTA first, but I never heard of Saints Row or what is it, Mafia, until I got a lot older. And then when I actually take a look at them, and I was like, wow, they're certainly different, because they're not just like GTA and they blast people and they kill stuff. They have like their own stories, and you do different things. I mean, Saints Row is different, I guess. Saints Row it's the one game that a lot of people call like more goofier and silly, because there's things that you can do in that game that is, what is it? There's things that you can do that are like out of the ordinary, and doesn't really seem like Grand Theft Auto at all. But I will say, for Saints Row, it's gotten a bad rep. Just because the latest one, it kind of flopped. A lot of people saying it was like bad. Kingdom Hearts. I can't really comment much on Kingdom Hearts, mostly because I haven't played all of them. We've only touched like the surface, but I believe you. Titanfall 2. Not gonna lie, I prefer Titanfall 1. Titanfall 1's like the mech suit things, right? Where you shoot stuff. Or I don't know. I don't know for sure. Either that or it's like Destiny or something. Half-Life 2 and Portal 2. Man, you guys know a lot on like sequels. What the fuck? You guys know so many sequels that are better than the original. I thought this would be more of like a challenging type of question for people to think about. That's very surprising. Because I had a little bit of trouble thinking about these. Borderlands 2. I don't know, I'm not much like a Borderlands type of guy. Maybe they might offend some people, but the Borderlands humor is kind of where I don't know, it's just like, it's like far out there, you know. It's like maybe this might be offensive to say to some people, but it kind of reminds me a lot of like Rick and Morty humor, kind of. Like I don't know. It's like I like the first Borderlands, but then like I haven't played it, but I've seen, you know, trailers and other people play like the DLC for the latest Borderlands. I think what was it called, like Tiny Tina something. It is just not for me. Like it's just not too silly is not the word. It's just I don't know, not my type of humor game. Fallout 2. I don't know about Fallout 2. Fallout 2 is kinda... I guess it kinda depends on who you ask. But when it comes to sequels for Fallout, and this is like... Most people would say this is debatable. But for the most part, whenever you ask anybody anything about Fallout and what their favorite game is, I want to say 90% of the time. This is just an estimate. 90% of the time, whenever you ask anybody that likes Fallout what their favorite game is, they'll just say Fallout New Vegas. It's because I don't know. Fallout New Vegas is fine, and then maybe some people might say like Fallout 4, but literally almost nobody ever says Fallout 2 or Fallout 1. Like literally nobody says that. But I think Fallout 2 holds its own, and even the first game it holds up okay. Cause the thing about like those games for Fallout 2 and Fallout 1 was because it's like more, you know, from a top-down perspective, and some people might not like that. But I like the aesthetic of it. I like how, you know, it's like an actual RPG. And not to mention, in Fallout 2, or Fallout 1 in particular, I remember it's really difficult to get like the best armor. And the best armor was like power armor. And you needed it to be what was the final boss in something Frank Hogan or something? What was his name? Hulk Hogan? I forgot. What is it Fallout 2 or Fallout 1? It was like the super mutant guy. Frank Horrigan. Yeah, you needed the power armor because if you didn't have it, you would get rushed down by like the turrets and him, and he had like a Gatling gun or something. But I thought it was like a really fun game. Like I played it way back when I like top-down perspective games, but nowadays I just can't get into that anymore. It's kind of sad, but but that's just how it's been. Like it's Saints Row peaked at Saints Row 3. I used to hear a bit about Saints Row, but now not anymore. The only thing I hear about Saints Row is that it's kind of, I don't know, it doesn't, like the games are bad. Like the one that released recently. There's some people that, I think the hardest part about making sandbox games is that you have to have like an open world, and then you have to make it fun, but you have to have stuff to do. But like most, like this is like I think the reason why it's hard is because they like whenever new games get released and it's within a franchise, there's developers and there's people that are new that have never really played the games, or they never really get an idea of, how 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 people used to like a certain thing in those games, and it represents the game in general, and without it, you wouldn't have, like, let's say Saints Row. You would just have a generic piece of shit, I guess. So there's like many things I can say about games being bad because it's bad because of this or that. But I like to think that there's plenty of ways to fix things, and there's plenty of ways to make things good. Two had soul, three was just a dildo swinging corporate grab. Have you guys ever heard of the game called Mind's Eye? I heard that game was in development for many years, and then when it came out, it just, I don't know, it was just garbage. I think that was what it's called, Mind's Eye. Yeah, this is the game. People thought that it was gonna be, what was that one other game called? People thought Mind's Eye was gonna be, what was it called? Was it Cyberpunk? They thought it was gonna be like that. It was gonna be like the next GTA 6. Oh, which reminds me, do you guys know that GTA 6, like, they originally was gonna release it next year, but then it got delayed again? Do you guys think that people have like some people still think that they have like a, they're still pretty hyped about it, that it was gonna get released someday, like sooner in the future? But I don't know. I think I'm speaking in general because I played Grand Theft Auto 5, and I don't want to say that it's like not for me or anything, but it I don't know. I wasn't, I don't know. I didn't really like it. It's not for me. It's just, I don't know. It's not because of like the graphics type of thing. I just think that you have like a really big map. And yeah, you can like beat people up and then you can do stuff. But it's just, I don't know. Like I like the old GTA games where, you have a mission and you have like other stuff in between. But then, like it doesn't feel like it's like empty. It feels like, wow, there's like people doing stuff, and then I have missions and then side missions I can do, and then I do that. And that's the game, and then the story kind of ties everything together. Most talent has left or been fired from games industry because our corporate power experience. Shareholders hiring shareholders to sell things endlessly. I want to be more like, I'm hopeful that that even though some games are delayed, that some, like, I want to, obviously I want things to be good, but obviously there's things that people can speculate that it's gonna be bad. I don't know if I can think of any games that have been delayed and then it came out good. I don't know. I can't think of any games that have been delayed. Let me see. Delayed games. But I will say though, there are games that I am looking forward to. That might, some people like, there's some sequels of games that I do want to see, but they either haven't been made yet or maybe it's been scrapped. Like, one game I really want to see is Bully 2, and then another game is, I'm trying to remember. I kind of blanked out a little bit. Maybe The Wolf Among Us. That's another game series that I kind of want to see continued. Duke Nukem Forever. That's okay. I've heard like a lot of bad things about the game though, but I don't know. Like I don't know. Duke Nukem Forever. I can't remember if that's the one that I'm thinking of. Or it could be another Duke Nukem game. I remember when the Duke Nukem came out, it was the first one in I think in 3D, or not in 3D, where everything like had a full model, and then you could do stuff like, you know, inappropriate things and then smoke and just like a lot of stuff that you could do. It had the same charm, Saints Row 3 minus the open world. Oh. Yeah, I just can't think of like a really good delayed game. Like, personally speaking, I don't know if anybody shares the same sentiment, but I think one of the things that maybe like for like certain game franchises, we don't exactly need remasters if the game, you know, like when we used to play it, it holds up really well. I don't think it needs like a remastered or anything. I don't know. I feel like it's kind of better to just use that and then maybe like start a, you know, continue the story for some games that need it, or I don't know, maybe spend that money towards like a new game series or like an idea. Like, I just think it's better overall. Maybe not a whole lot of people might share that sentiment, but I just think that some games don't really need a remaster if they hold up pretty well. It's like let's say Skyrim got a remaster because it's 10 years old or like 15 years old. But then, you know, Skyrim has been released quite a bit, and they had like the 10-year or 20-year anniversary. I forget how long it's been. I don't know. I just don't think it needs like many iterations. Like, I like to think that like Skyrim, I know Skyrim had like the special edition, and then after that they released it on like different consoles. And then they had Skyrim Anniversary Edition. and then they had Skyrim on the Switch or something. I forget. I don't know. It's just the idea of re-releasing the same game, but then like slapping like a different price tag on it. It kind of like when it doesn't add anything. It's just like, why though? Hey Lufa, welcome back, man. How's it going? Did you do anything special? You play anything recent and like anything games, like any recent games? I wonder if you guys remember this, but way back when Bethesda published a game called Redfall, a lot of people might dislike it. Like, I've never played it, so I can't really criticize it that much. But I think it's... I don't know, I think it's okay for... And I mean this because, you know, people want to try new things, but I think it's okay for game developers to try new things. Like, you know, because it's just a way of life, and if things don't work, or if, like, let's say, people don't like it, then you can always go back to the drawing board. So gamers can shit on it and say it's like a waste of time or money, and it may be, but I like to think that there's always good constructive criticism or feedback that developers can learn. Like, oh, people don't like this. And then they can, you know, go back to the drawing board and then change things and then build off of that. But, you know, nothing in life ever comes without risk because people do take risks, whether it's a game or movie. And if people don't take risks, then we wouldn't have good games. Because there's like people out there that start like a game genre, like Dark Souls or something, because people haven't tried it before. So if nobody ever created Dark Souls, then or ever tried the idea of Dark Souls, then we wouldn't have it. Or, you know, other such things. And if they don't do that, then it won't pay off. That's what I mean. Hey Ember Crit, how's it going, man? How ya been? We were just talking about game sequels and what you think might be, what most people would like for a game sequel compared to the original. And some of the games that we came up with for like the types of media was, what was it? Black Ops 2, Silent Hill 2, Terminator 2. That's like movies, but some sequels are better than the original, and we thought of like some sequels that were better than that. And I'm not sure if you can name any. I'm sure you can, but there's literally some sequels that are better. Opinion speaking, I mean. Kind of depends on what you like, I guess. Oh boy. I feel like lately, a lot of like the big game developing, like a lot of the game developers, like the bigger ones, they've been kind of, I don't know, I don't want to say it's like been worse, because I can't really think of like I don't know, I can't think of like a gaming company right now, or a game developer or publisher that people don't like. I don't know, can you guys even think of one? Of like a game developer that still maintains the status of being beloved? Or like the status of, yeah, this is what other game developers should learn from. Because they're like the gold standard. Yeah, that's what I've been saying. Most talent has left or been fired from the industry. The scariest thing is, and I'm saying this for like the gaming industry, is that you have a lot of old developers that they, genuinely speaking, they know their stuff and they know what the audience wants, because they're like the people that started with it, and they've been working in the industry for 10 or 20 years, so they know what people like. And then you have like newer people that get introduced into the gaming development sphere. So the newer people, they don't know much about what makes the game good, and they don't know, because they maybe they haven't grown up with the games, or they haven't taught that you need to include this, otherwise the game's gonna fall apart. It's sort of like, let's say, I don't know, what's the good franchise? I can't think of one, to be honest. I'm trying to think of like a good franchise that still is good. From Software? Okay, From Software, we'll take that one. So, let's say for example, I don't know how long Dark Souls, how old it's been. Let's say 20 years. So developers since then they're 20 years older, and then some developers they went away, and then new ones come in, and then they go, yeah, you know how the combat is slow, and you know how there's like no animation canceling or something. We should implement that, but we should make it. We should introduce some things like healing gems. So if they use them, they we can have an alternative to what is it? Healing flasks. And you know what? We'll set a merchant at like the edge of each entire bonfire so that people can buy this healing gem, and you know, people don't have to use their flasks up. It's kind of like that, right? So if people haven't played the games or they don't know what they're doing and they work on it, when the people who used to work on it, they and maybe the people who played it before and they're starting to play this game, and they think about it, and they're like, what the fuck happened? Like, what the fuck are these? The healing gems? It's kind of like that, you know. You like, but I guess you have to try, and then you have to implement new things to see if people like it. But if you change things that people don't like, then more likely they're not gonna like that you did that. Depends on what platform of games you're referring to. There's many platforms with game production. That is true. There's definitely a lot of game platforms that people can choose from. I know recently we talked about this before, but a lot of the game developers, over 70%, according to an article recently that I saw, a lot of game developers believe that Steam is a monopoly because, like, if your game isn't on Steam, then people ain't gonna buy it. But I don't think it's a monopoly because Steam doesn't really do anything. Steam kind of just exists, and I don't know, they don't really do much. they I don't know. Steam, like, it exists, but it doesn't really have to do anything. But people flock to it because it's mostly because I like to think that most people know Steam growing up, and that's where people generally get their games from, and they buy it and then they play it that way. But from my knowledge, compared to like the other game platforms, like Epic Games doesn't really, I don't know, it doesn't really incentivize you to go to their platform, and then they do have free games sometimes. Epic Games is like, hey, come visit our website, you can get this free game. But for the most part, whenever I buy anything, it's usually from Steam. It's never from anywhere else. Because whenever I think of buying any games at all, I think of Steam first and foremost. But I never think of any other platform. I mean, sure, there are exceptions where if it's cheaper, like let's say if it's 80% cheaper, then yeah, you know, I might buy it somewhere else. But like let's say GOG, it's like a really old game, and they have like 80% off of, I don't know, Fallout 3 or Fallout 4 or something, and Steam is like $20 or like $30 or something, then yeah, you know, I'll give like the other platform a chance. Like, I'm just a person that doesn't really want to spend a whole lot and want to save some money up. Then I get it, you know. Then set a price on it for real money to those flasks for bulk. This is what I mean about it. There's a lot of new people who get into the game development that don't necessarily understand what the gamers want from the franchise. So they end up changing a lot of things that people don't like. And I like to think that one of the reasons why games take so long to make nowadays, because they obviously have to be good, but it's just like this change in dynamic where a lot of people are getting older, so you have to get new people in. So as games get progressively longer to make, then they'll constantly swap people. Because obviously you get older, you want to retire or something. You've been in the business for, I don't know, 30 years now. And, if you don't work on the game no more, then maybe you have to tell somebody what they have to do, or maybe you gotta teach them what they have to do. So, I used to remember. Have you guys remembered like the old GTA games, like GTA Vice City and GTA 3 and GTA San Andreas? Do you know the like how short the times they were released compared to now? Like GTA 3 was like how long? GTA 3. GTA 3 was in 2001, and then GTA Vice City was it like 1 year apart in 2002, and then San Andreas was what is it? It was like 2 years after that. So the thing is, like, the amount of time it took to make those three games were so much shorter than it is now. With like GTA 5, right? It came out in 2016, and now it's 9 years later, and we still haven't seen GTA whatever, GTA 6, or I don't know, whatever it's gonna be called. Maybe they're gonna add something at the end. So it's been 9 years since the next one. So this is kind of where like the game industry is nowadays, with a lot of developers. The game programming and production is much more advanced now. That is true, but I can also say that I don't want to say that it takes time to learn it, because it does, but it's just a matter of fact of talent. There are some people that are experienced enough to be able to know what they are capable of doing and making. And then there's some people that I don't want to say they're not talented. They just it's just it just doesn't work, because they might not understand that what they're doing doesn't really communicate well with the community. So I'm sure there's a lot of talented people out there, but what I'm trying to say is that maybe their talent is kind of better spent elsewhere, where their talents are more appreciated. That's for like the right direction of where people want to go. It's not to say that nobody is ever gonna be talented. It's just that everybody is talented in different things. But at the end of the day, talent, and I've always said this before, but talent is just a pursued interest. Because if you're not talented, it's just more so likely that you don't really want to get into it, or you haven't put enough time to want to get better at it. And that's all it is. Talent is just a pursued interest. Because everybody has talent, but it's just talent in different things that you like. Because if you don't enjoy it, then it's not gonna end well. They're trying to make it better with quest graphics and general gameplay. Yeah, that's true. I also said this about the Fallout 4 anniversary. And I don't know if you guys think it's like the right idea, but it was just not the right way to go about the anniversary. Like I said this, and it doesn't need to be like a big thing. It doesn't need to be like a difficult thing. Like all they need is just like a free DLC on the side for the 10 years, and it's like a map and like missions and then stuff you can do, and then it all ties into like the celebration of like the tricentennial, or I don't know, the rebirth of something. And then I don't know, you get like cult members and then they're praying, like, and it's like, oh, the I don't know, the UFOs or something came from outer space, and then like you just have something that celebrates that, instead of, you know, like this content creation club bullshit. No, you don't need that. You could just, like I said before, it's just you just need to make things simple. But I guess most people who work at like Bethesda might not understand that. Because I feel like it's really easy as long as you play the games and then you get an idea of what people want. Like, you know, maybe ask for feedback, and then you know, you can do those things. But like the thing is, like, for I feel like most game developments and also like other services, that they don't necessarily understand that if you provide a good service, then you'll get good feedback and people will like it, and then, you know, they'll buy more of it, and then they'll get more invested into it. But if you put shit on the table or you throw shit in their face, it's they obviously are gonna be like mad about it, but they're just probably not gonna play it, or they're not gonna be engaged in it. Like, it's just true of anything. If you provide a good service, then people will come, and then they will do whatever or want the service that you provide. But if you provide them a bad service, then obviously people are gonna flock to it, or they're not gonna, you know, they're not gonna engage in it. That's just how I think. I think that's just true of anything. That's unfortunate, considering blaming anyone else is impotent and not blaming is how shit is falling apart. It's like false advertising, a free game that eventually runs into a paywall. It's one of the most difficult things when it comes to anything with a subscription service, is making sure that people are happy, but also maintaining upkeep, and making sure that the game is, you know, it's still the same thing as it once was. But as long as you have people there who know what they're doing, then you can maintain it for a while. But obviously there's gonna be things that you do that will upset people. It's just that when you make it like a live service type of game, I don't know, I want to say it's better to make like a single player game where you get it one and done, and you don't have to pay for anything. You don't have to pay for microtransactions. You just get the game and then you play through it without having to deal with anything else. But for live service games, that's different. You have to keep it going, and that's like, if I ever want to make a game someday, it's most likely not going to be a live service thing or a subscription based game, because that's just, I don't know, I could never do that. That's just, I want it to be a really good game, but make it memorable and straight to the point, and not having to extend storylines that don't need to be extended, or prolong things that don't really need more stuff. Because if you add on to it, it becomes, it's kind of like movie franchises where the first or second movie is really good, and then you decide to make more storylines and then add to it, and it becomes convoluted to the point where it's not understandable anymore, and then it's just like, where did the plot go? The same way I think of it is like The Simpsons and like Family Guy, where you have like, let's say season 1 and season 2 of it, and it's like, oh, I get the understanding that they're like a family and they do things, and You know, they at the end of the day they're still a family, and then you move on to like 30 seasons later, and it's just like, what happened? they're still they're still them. They haven't aged, and they still haven't learned anything. It's still the same old people. Because, like, after 30 seasons, everything becomes stale and it becomes old. And I feel like at a certain point, everything kind of has to come to an end. Because if you prolong it any further, it's not going to be as good. I can't say the same for every type of media, but eventually things get stale. That's just like how I think of it. Okay, that's like, it's better to have a really good story than to have something that gets ruined. You know what I mean? Because it's memorable and people remember it for what it is. But then if you add something to fuck it up, then it's just like, oh god damn, I don't know what they did with the ending there. I don't know what happened to them. Destiny kept claiming to be F2P, but only having a couple hours of free content. I know for Destiny 2 specifically, I used to have a moderator that played Destiny 2 a lot, and he really liked it. He played the fuck out of that game. Like, every single day he would hop onto Destiny 2 and then do some sort of raid, or I don't know what he did, but he would just like go on and play every day, and then all of a sudden, for whatever reason, he stopped because they messed up something with the raids, and they made it more, I don't know, more convoluted than it had to be. So a lot of people got disappointed, and a lot of people stopped playing the game. There's still people that play Destiny, but because of that specific thing, that's the reason why it's so difficult to maintain a live service game. You gotta keep making people happy. Or maintaining it, I mean. Stewie killed Lois, Brian died and came back. Very prolonged. Like, that's the thing I'm talking about. Everything within the grand scheme of things, it has to come to an end. Otherwise, it's gonna get worse and worse and worse. Or maybe people might not think it's bad because they think, oh, it's just made for laughter or something. But if you don't end something, then, you know, most people are just gonna remember it for when it went down in flames, rather than, oh, this used to be a really good show. I used to be Destiny really hard as well. Their talent has been drained since 2 launched. I can kind of think of it the same way as... Let me see, what's one thing that kind of got ruined? That isn't a game, I mean. I'm trying to think of it. All the best anime are around 32 episodes, endings are important. I know in particular, there's... When it comes to TV shows, there's one TV show that a lot of people really liked, but then the ending, you know, it got some people and they were like, what the fuck just happened? Like, why did you do that? And the best example that I can give is Game of Thrones. And maybe not a lot of people are into that here, but Game of Thrones used to be very attention grabbing and a lot of people really liked it. But then the ending came, trying to wrap everything together. I'm not gonna spoil it. I didn't watch it. I'm not like a Game of Thrones type of guy. But the ending is what killed the show itself, and a lot of people really disliked it for the ending in particular. So much so that any hype for the spin-offs, or any hype whatsoever for other things, it just died. I forgot what the spin-off was. I think it was called like House of Dragons or something. So it is important as far as like the ending goes. I haven't watched it, but I'm guessing it was a bad plot twist. I literally know nothing about Game of Thrones. And back when I was in high school, it was really, really popular. But I wasn't the one that watched it because it was on, I think, HBO or something. It was on cable. I was like, fuck that. I ain't paying $50 for cable. So, I guess maybe it was on a streaming service as well, but I just didn't really care that much. There's only a select few of things that I don't like for gaming and TV shows that I don't watch because it's not my type of genre. For gaming in particular, it's anything to do with like anything that's like really like it tries to be really wholesome and it ends up being like silly and goofy or something. Like the same way as like Undertale or Delta Ruin. I'm sorry to say, but those aren't like my type of games. I feel like for Delta Ruin and Undertale, it takes like a specific audience to really like it. And I'm not part of that audience. Even though I look very, I don't know, maybe I might look the part. Okay, I might look like I belong in like the Undertale or what is it, Delta Ruin fan base. But another game genre that I don't belong to, or I don't really particularly like, is League of Legends. I think I said this in the beginning of the stream. I'm not a League of Legends guy. It's just I don't know. I just don't have an interest in playing League. I've heard a lot of good things from League, but I've also heard a lot of equally as bad things, like people getting addicted to it. I just never had the same sentiment. I tried League of Legends for 30 minutes on stream. You guys remember that, right? We tried League of Legends for 30 minutes, and I just could not get into it. Like, I don't know. But people say that, oh, if you play League of Legends, you gotta get addicted to it. You gotta spend thousands of hours. If you don't, you gotta spend money on the skins or something. That was my bad for suggesting Battle Right game you played. It was similar to League and you didn't like that genre. No, it's okay, man. One thing I don't mind, and I'm very open-minded, is trying new things. But it's okay if people give me suggestions. Like I try them out, no matter like what the stigma is. Like same thing with TV shows. Same thing with like I'll say this for TV shows. There are many shows that I haven't watched, and I gave some like quite a few bit of tries. Like for instance, The Boys. I watched the season 2, and I just haven't gotten around to watching like the rest of the other seasons. It's not because I got bored of it. It's mostly because I don't know. I've just been doing things in general, and I haven't kept up with it. But I'm getting to it eventually. But I'm like as far as recommendations go, I take it with stride, and whatever people do have and they want me to try, I will, I'll give it a chance. Delta Ruin and Undertake is just basically just streamer bait for children. I think that for Delta Ruin and Undertale, it's it's not like necessarily just for children. I think you need to be a specific type of personality to like those games. You need to be the one like really goofy and not logical, like the people that are like making sounds all the time, and then what's the word for it? Like they're very interactive and fun on stream. Like that's something that I can't personally do. Like I can't make goofy noises. I can't do that sort of thing, because that's not who I am. That's like I'm pretty sure you guys don't know this. I don't wave my hands around like I just don't care type of thing. Like I can't do that. whatever I say, it's usually like an opinionated thing. It's not like, oh, I gotta jingle keys, I gotta make loud noises. Like I don't know. It's hard for me to do that, and I don't know how. That's one of the most difficult things when it comes to like being goofy on stream. That was my bad. I didn't like you love that genre. Fair. Sounds like you're describing an idiot though. There's a lot of people right now that I want to say there's a lot of people, and I was talking to my friend about this. We were talking about how eventually like she had the notion where people are getting dumber and like lack of thought and a lot of stuff right now in society. But the way I thought of it was like I talked to her about like the movie called Idiocracy, where the idea is that smart people or normal people generally think about like whenever they have kids they have to think about how much money they make and then other stuff. But then on the flip side, I don't want to say dumber people or less intelligence or less intellect, people that are inclined to think about this less, and they let their corn dog do the talking, quote unquote. They don't necessarily need to think about it because they let whatever downstairs do the talking. So that's the whole premise of the movie, and we were talking about that. But the thing is, overall, a lot of the movie is over exaggerated, and I don't really think that everyone's gonna be like dumb in the future, where everyone, they're like cavemen, unga boonga, yeah, unga boonga, like that, and nobody's gonna, no, everybody's not gonna talk like that, because the thing is like everyone is different, and there's capabilities of what people can do and what they want to do. So like when I was a kid, right, I grew up with like a lot of what was it, a lot of teachers pets, right? They're the types of kids that grew up and they did assignments and I gotta get an A or else I get enrolled in Harvard. And if they don't do, look, I talked about this before, right? In high school there was like one dude that I knew, and he had a chemistry test or biochem test that he had to get a passing grade in, and which he did. He got a C on the test, and he was in the library crying because I can't get into Harvard, I can't get into UCLA because I got a C. Ah! And he kept crying he kept crying, and his friends consoled him. And I was like, what the fuck, you passed, dude, why are you crying over that? See, I was never really into school all that much because I knew that grades wasn't a full representation of who you are as a person. And I realized that a lot of colleges or a lot of people in general in real life, they don't really look at academics. They look at you. They look at you and what you're capable of and what you can do. Because yeah, sure, you may be book smart, but what can you actually do for whoever's gonna hire you or whoever looks at you or something? I mean, I can't be talking. I play Roblox games with the later ones, but their new Dragon Ball Z game is just but one of the best games I've ever played. To each their own. I'm not judging, man. Everybody's entitled to play whatever they want. The best thing that I can say for anybody is, if you like playing something or you like doing something, then pursue whatever you want to play, whatever you want to do. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what people say for what you play. Let's say, for example, I don't know, you do something that people denounce. Like, let's say you're a janitor, but you like the simplistic life. You like, mopping floors because it's a really simple job. I ain't gonna like judge you for that. It's just what it is. And I like the best thing that I can say for anybody is just to accept people for who they are. And if they do things that other people like, it that doesn't really bother you, then what's the point? There really are people who are faking it to make it and being trained wrong everywhere. Confidence is succeeding over actual skill and intelligence all over, which is resulting in many dead around the world. It's just a lot of the my view on life is, live the best life that you can. Do the best at anything that you like to do. As long as you have fun in it, as long as you like doing it, that's all that matters, right? Their mom would probably threaten them. Yeah, I don't know what happened with them, but needless to say, I don't know, they didn't want me around anymore because I said to them, it ain't the end of the world, and then they yelled at me and they were like, it is the end of the world. You don't understand. I'm not gonna get in anymore. I don't know. Whatever I did and whatever I do in life, even to this day, I go at it at like a snail's pace, and I'm very relaxed about it. I don't take anything really serious at all. Like just the other day, I got like a. This is my fault, by the way. I got like a parking ticket because I parked at my local card shop, and they were like designated parking spots, and I parked there accidentally because I didn't look at the sign, and I went into the store for about 15 minutes and I came out and I got a parking ticket. It was $70. I was like, damn, fuck, fuck, oh god, but it's okay. It's just, it is what it is. It's my fault. I made a mistake. I shouldn't have parked in the designated spot. But the designated spot there in like the parking lot was made for like the people who work there. So it's like that, if shit happens, things happen. It's just the way that it is. Yeah, you can get angry over it, you can get frustrated over it, but at the end of the day, it's just how things are, and you gotta go with the flow of things. In an ideal world, janitors would make lots of money and having fun jobs like actors would only be paid in exposure. I had like the same thought at one point. I would do YouTube because I really liked it. But after a certain point, it kind of just became, stuff that I didn't want to do. But I did it anyways because, you know, growth and views. and it, and after that though, after a while of doing it, I realized that it's better to just do things because I like doing them and I enjoy them, and I don't have to necessarily entertain a crowd. That type of thing, right? I could just speak my own mind and just do things that I want to do. And it might not lead to a lot of success or, a lot of money, but it's better than doing something I don't like. But okay, it's not to say that even if I don't like it now, it's not something that I won't redo later if I get like a hunch, or I get like maybe the itch to do it again. Because eventually, if I feel like doing it again, then I always have that option, right? Yeah, I'm sorry guys. That was probably like a mouthful. I went on like multiple tangents there. I'm the kind of person that takes other people's point of view. When I think of anything, I like to think about what other people are going through and what they're put myself into their shoes as well. Like the perspective of and marketers have to do this because you get a better understanding of your audience and also what people like and what they may dislike, that type of thing. So it kind of just comes with a job subscription, job description, I guess. But I understand where like the point of view is where people have to do that. Let me just sit back a little bit. I'm kind of thinking of like what I should do for next week, because we still have something to do for Wednesday that I haven't really figured out yet. Like, yeah, we could play a game, but I just don't know what. But for Sunday, I'm thinking of maybe doing more of just like more of like hand cam streams of art in general. I want to say it's something that I want to focus more on as like a little bit of a hobby, but it's not something that I want to go full out on and I want to like stream it all the time. But I'm still thinking of what I should do for Wednesday. I just recently bought my house, Froggy, about a few months back. I bought it with my girl. Hey, congrats, man! That's nice. Kind of reminds me of my brother when he first got his own house. But that was like a long while back. I can't believe it, though. Not a whole lot of people get their opportunity to be able to buy a house. So for you to be able to, that's actually quite an accomplishment. I mean, considering today in the ability to buy a house is a lot more difficult compared to back then. Well, that's good. And is it like a one-story house or is it like a two-story house? That's kind of something that I explained to my dad a while back. But he was like, nah, son, buying a house. And I was like, yeah, I get it, Dad. But, it's difficult to, save up enough to buy a house when the houses here cost like, I don't know, over $500,000. It was $70K, but I had money I got from my mother that I saved before she died, sadly. Oh, I'm sorry, man. My condolences. I hope everything's okay with that. But it's nice that you got money that you're able to purchase a home. 75K is nothing to scoff at. Like, I want to say that I have that, but here where I live, it's quite a bit. But where you live, if we're comparing like the ratios, that's a lot of money. Like everywhere in the US, the minimum wage or the wages are inflated compared to the States. So 75K elsewhere, that's a lot of money, man. Generally speaking, one thing I do wish I kind of want is maybe when I make enough, I don't know, like I feel like it's a bad idea to move elsewhere and then use that money to buy a place elsewhere. Just so that it's cheaper with like the wages here compared to there. But I feel like it's on the flip side, if like let's say the minimum wage is different compared to California, And it's gonna be a lot tougher living here. Ah, that's nice. You guys are spamming emojis. It's nice that we got like the wholesome stuff going on. We got the PewDiePie bro fists. I haven't seen that in a long while. Oh, that does remind me. Maybe this isn't like good news, but my sister the other day, I just heard like just recently that she's still in Hong Kong, but she didn't make it far into the competition. So she got cut, and then she's gonna come home in about maybe during Christmas time. So it's for me, it's kind of like a bad thing, but also like a good thing. It's bad for her, but it's good for me. Because at the very least, she gets to go home and come home for Christmas. And I already have like a gift for her for when she comes home for Christmas. I don't know about you guys, but I'm pretty prepared when it comes to the holidays. Like, I want to make sure I get everything done. Yeah, I'm here. I just had this on the background. Yeah, usually Lufa and Flame Bro is here. Oh, that and I don't know. I shouldn't call them out, but usually Rainbow is here too. Also Ash. Ash is usually they're all in the background. I'm just more of like a streamer that people put in the background and then they use it as like background noise. Like I'm not like the hype man, the people who yell into the mics and it's like, "Hey guys, look at this triple kill." Like that. I don't do any of that sort of thing. I can't imagine people would have me on and then they have another person on that's like yelling into the mic. That would feel really awkward. Isn't Flame the busy one? I heard he's been working on, unless he's thinking of someone else. Nah, Flame Bro, he's busy with Final Fantasy 14. He's busy doing raids and leveling up. But Phoenix is the one that's busy. He's the one that's on the... He's the one in the college student council. He's working on the Senate there. So he's busy doing things and making changes to like the college rules and like other stuff. So he doesn't have a whole lot of time for anything in general. But he does come by and say like hi often just to see how we're doing. Yeah, he has a pretty busy job. Like I could never do that because I don't know. I just don't have that much of an interest. The same thing in college. I had plenty of opportunities to go into extracurriculars. Like one was debating, but I always thought that debating was kind of... I won't lie, debating's kind of a waste of time. The same way I think of if two people keep butting heads, then they'll never get anywhere. Because two people who keep debating, one side has to prevail over the other, and I can't say really anything good will come out of it because there's not much of a compromise. So when it came to debate, that's what that was the closest extracurricular thing that I ever came to. Yeah, I'm here. I just had this on the background. But yeah, other than that, it's nice to see my sister coming home for the holidays. Even though she didn't make it into the top cut, she did appear on TV there. So that's the best thing that she can say for herself. And I don't know. I guess I can say that my sister made it somewhere. I'm sorry I wasn't available for a few months. I actually got a new job and moved away with my girlfriend. When I got this new house, I would love to be part of this community you got running. That's okay, man. Anybody can come in and join whenever they want. This is more of like a relaxed and slow-paced community where, we're just relatively, what's the word for it? Chill. Yeah, we're very, slow is the wrong word, but we do things. we, we generally do things, and I don't know, that's just how it is. You've been part of a community. But when it comes to anybody that comes and then joins and then goes and then comes back, it's usually what happens. That's just how it is with this community. But people are always welcome, alright? I don't shun people away. Like, people can come and go as they please. The only thing I ever ask of anybody is, let me see, what's the right word for it? I had this in the back of my mind, but the only thing that people can't do is just be a dickwad about things. That's a word, right? Dickwad? Yeah, just kind of be, just people be normal. Just, like, unless, chill is the right word. Chill is the right word. I think that's how I would put it. Steam troller? Like, don't get me wrong. When it comes to... I'm very accepting of everybody, for the most part. Like, there's a lot of people here that are, different personalities, and they believe in different things, but I don't believe in, like, shunning them away because they believe in it, or they do things that most people might not like, or maybe they don't like, or they dislike, or something. But that's just how it is. You gotta accept people for who they are, and if you don't accept them for who they are, that's just, I guess, how you are, I guess. I don't know. But not many people can accept people for who they are and what they believe in, and that's okay. Like, I had this conversation with a friend that I used to know, right? So they used to say that, oh, I say some fucked up shit or out of pocket stuff. And, we eventually parted ways because they couldn't tolerate the stuff that I said. Like, I would say some, like, really out of pocket stuff. Like, oh, what, like, if they were playing a game or something, I'd say, that's bullshit. You got fucked over or something. They'd be like, no, that's shh, don't say that. See, it's kind of like that, right? I guess the best way I could put it is I'm more of like a blunt individual, and maybe most people might not accept the way I say things or the way I interpret things, because everybody's different and everybody's comedy humor is different. They weren't nearly as hard as they, though. Yeah, but they were more of like a wholesome person. The wholesome goody two shoes. The nice up what is it? Moral upstanding person. They were like, how do I put this? They were, what's a good word for them? Like, wholesome is another word, but they were like, God, but what's a good word to, besides wholesome? I'm trying to think of it, but I'm like really struggling with this. Um, let me see. What's a good word for wholesome? Similar to that. Uh, uptight is not the word that I'm thinking of. Oh, maybe non-violent. Family friend. Yes, yes, that's the word. That's the word. Family friendly. That is the word. That's what I was looking for. Family friendly. Wow, so you actually got the exact word that I'm looking for. But yeah, they were very family friendly, and I was just like very. You know how some people, like, they gave off the impression that they're like the uncle who drinks all the time, and then they spew shit that they, that's like offensive or something, or like they say things out of pocket and is like very blunt about it. I'm kind of like that. See, it's like you guys already know on stream that I always say shit all the time, right? You guys know if I don't like something, I'm just gonna say it. I'm just gonna speak my mind. So they didn't like that, and we just, we never clicked in that way. I'm sure there's like some things that I've said before that are like really out of pocket. I can't really think of anything right now, but it's really close to that. Oh no, guys, Froggy isn't the perfect streamer. He isn't the wholesome guy. It shattered the illusions of many. It's gonna be on the 5 o'clock news. Yeah, can you believe that? Streamers, they're VTubers that aren't perfect, and I don't know, they have personalities to them. And they don't just have like a pretty face. Okay. I think maybe this is like a good time to. Well, I need to eat dinner after this because I just recently came home. I had to pick up my mom because I took her to her friend's place. So I didn't even get any time to eat anything. All I did was just go to McDonald's and get an iced coffee. And then after that, I kind of filled it up with some Powerade. So I'm like running on empty here. Okay, guys, this is gonna be the end of the just chatting for now, but I want to thank everybody for being here. I really appreciate it, as always. I'm not entirely sure what we're gonna do on Wednesday. Maybe we might have like another demo night, or maybe we might do something else in particular. Or I don't know, maybe we might do like another hand cam thing, where, I don't know, I find something to do. Or, I don't know, I'll have to figure that out, but there is like another thing I do have to work on, which was like edit a video. So in the meantime, between now and then, like I'm probably gonna release something like Pokemon related. And for Friday and Sunday, it's gonna be more Pokemon, and what else? It's gonna be oh, drawing. More doodles requests. Hey Lufa. Stream ending? Yeah, it's ending. I know. But we've been chatting for about 2.5 hours. That's very surprising. I didn't expect that. But I'm very thankful that people are still here watching me blabble on. Blabber on, I'm sorry. Yeah, my voice is getting more dry, but like I said, I thank everybody for being here. I really appreciate it, as always. And I do mean that, okay? Even though I always say it, I do mean it. Thank you all for your time and your support. And yeah, I hope everyone has a good night. And bye-bye, everybody. Oh, thank you, Ember Crit. You don't have to donate. Thank you. Oh my god, thank you. Oh my god. I keep forgetting to turn off the super chats. Thank you though. Bye bye everybody.